these bands are very reactive against Bigetron Alpha, right? You saw the Kadita, you saw the Melissa, and you saw the Paquito. These are the three must bans if you're facing a team like Bigetron Alpha. Bigetron Alpha taking full advantage of that one and just literally went on ham and creative about that. I like the Ruby going to the EXP lane. Thank goodness for that, because I personally despise roam Rubies because, like, you get a Franco, it does the job a lot better. But looking at where Zorizo is putting this Ruby, going to EXP lane, good. Make sure that she gets the hard scores, able to sustain, and especially when facing up against AP BREN, the common style that Bigetron Alpha usually play is this AoE damage and AoE lockdowns. This has been the case since game number 1.
We've seen mid Ruby yesterday. I believe it was by Burnex Flash, and that unfortunately didn't work out for them. And this time Super Vin's gonna try and invade. Organ will spot him out. Please do not get the buff. Woo! That was very close. Super Vin just committing to it, and he's gonna give the first blood away to Kautizi.
Yeah, Super Vin overextended just a little bit. Super Ken secures his own orange buff, so everything is still A-okay. But Bigetron Alpha burning that flicker right off the bat. Looking at the seconds, yeah, Super Vin doesn't really have the flicker going into the first turtle fight, so that might be huge. No flicker wild charge anymore for the side of Bigetron Alpha.
And Kautizi even stole the camp, so he's gonna hit 4 first. Super Ken starved out of his own jungle. Flatizi also finding another one of the camps on that towards the bottom end. They do slow down the Joy a little bit, which is already a hero that isn't the fastest when it comes to clearing jungle, so a slightly good start for AP BREN.
Yeah, this time around it's a lot different, right? Super Barco back onto something that he's more comfortable with, I believe, on the carry as well. But look at Super Vin, he's getting chunked down low.
And he's gonna be taken down. Super Vin drop once more. That's 2-0 for Kautizi. As a Fanny, he's gonna be very, very happy with the result.
Definitely, right? Like, you're snowballing. It's the same idea as your Hayabusa in game number 2. But going to the later parts of the game, we've seen how Fanny can fall. The only thing that Fanny can also confidently do in the later parts of the game is to basically cut away, space crossmat, right? Because of the rotation's a lot faster. But apart from that, the turtle is up, and I don't think Bigetron Alpha does have the priority over that. Super Bin slowly ticking towards level 4, doesn't have the flicker. Super Ken on the other side of the map, Awkward will be there to spot him out.
Getting completely harassed in the jungle, might need some help from Key just to secure the purple buff. On the other end, Kautizi will get his. Super Vin once more in the rough spot. Doesn't have the ultimate anymore, so has to be very, very careful as Q comes in as well. Kautizi pops concentration, trying to run down the members of Bigetron Alpha. 1 versus 3, not a problem. Organ by his side. Kaja not 4 yet, so no Divine Judgment.
No Divine Judgment, it was already used as well. If you notice how AP BREN and Bigetron Alpha is just reading each other like a book. Both of these roamers just on the opposite side of the map, just tried to slow down Kautizi. Facing no issues right there, still at least secure his own purple buff. But Super Ken, like I said, this Super Ken's drop is the same as game number 2, right? Just to run down when Few goes into Cal Altar and then deny that, and then he can retreat and he can run away. His job is done.
Saki will clear the entire wave. It's just a classic carry game. You can bully in lane. It'll take a lot of time to skill up. Super showing up from Turtle as well. Remember the Bigetron Alpha is simply pull back. You have the hard guard as a response. Zorizo in the fight, but the retreat fight goes over to Kautizi as he goes on a killing spree. This time Super Ken ends up going down.
Yeah, FlapTC still chasing on against Zorizo though. Key is still around there at the same time, but this is where AP BREN really wants to be in the early game, right? Like, KTC kept taking 3 kills, taking turtles for his name at the same time. Take a look at the emblems. I think the most interesting one, in my opinion, is definitely the focusing mark for Super Vin. Knocks everybody up in the air, and then all of a sudden, hey, you know, you also do bonus damage towards everybody. But I think the question is, oh, Zorizo low.
Actually put under the tower and killed off about a turret shot. I mean, that structure deals a truckload of damage. So a bit of an unlucky one for FlapTZ. Didn't have to sprint either way. Consecration was also down. Actually went for the Impure Rage instead of the Brave Smite.
I think it doesn't really matter for the side of FlapTZ. If you notice, FlapTZ really wants to sustain as much as possible in lane. And this bonus movement speed allows him to stick onto this target as much as possible to land on the Ionic Edge over and over again. The damage actually stacks out of control, and it does a lot of damage. If there's this one time I was casting and I saw Uranus does 48% of team damage, yeah, that's the whole idea of FlapTZ, right? But however, FlapTZ also go for the common emblem, right? Non-stop mana is exactly what a Uranus needs. Just stay in lane. Just stay in lane.
Game pace is gonna slow down just a little bit for AP BREN at least. And I think, you know, these kind of game states, it's minor good news for Bigetron Alpha. You don't have Kautizi running around the map. You are not allowing him to further that snowball. The conversion is going to get mitigated for AP BREN. So we will be in the stalemate for a little bit. It's 1.5k goal advantage for AP BREN.
Yeah, not a big one, right? We saw how Bigetron Alpha can also swing back the economy lead because of that one. But Sakin on this B-Trix against Super Marco. This time around, Super Marco is able to stabilize. It's not as bad as, you know, the Harry game in game number 2. So that's A-okay. AP BREN, I think, because it gets that additional goal lead, it's because of the one turtle they took and also Kautizi on 3-0-0. It's a perfect game for Kautizi for now. Super Ken is actually going hunting.
And Kautizi, can you win the Retri War?
Oh,
Can
no.
actually wins that one. The retribution used way too early by Kautizi, so Super Ken stealing it without using much effort. And when we look at the emblems also, Sakin, he's actually running the lethal ignition, right? So you watch out, he's gonna 3-shot you with that bonus damage from the Nibiru, something that you gotta respect a bit more. Dorizo getting ran down on the top lane, but Slapteasy, no problem. Not able to finish things off. And the Super Ken, meanwhile, they try and run down Ogwen. Ogwen ends up falling. Kautizi taking a big snipe from Sakin. Ends up having to retreat. And Bigetron Alpha slowly coming online bit by bit. Just by taking these pickoffs and opening up the bottom lane for Sakin. And that means Sakin will have a really good time taking down this bot tier 1.
Yeah, man. Like, right now, the turtle is completely forgotten by both these two teams because both these two teams are looking to play the purple buff as if it's a turtle itself. Now, Kautizi getting put off from the purple buff is huge. So, for a couple more minutes, AP BREN wasn't able to output enough of pressure against Bigetron Alpha. That's Bigetron Alpha's way to slow down Kautizi. We saw that happen in game number 1 of Evos Legends, and now Bigetron Alpha all of a sudden, because of that thing, that fact, they have turtle priority.
I'm offended to pull in on a 2. Flapteasy trying to buy as much time as possible. Unfortunately, Kautizi ends up getting stunned, so can't contest the turtle. They get the Divine Death from Aldous Dorizo, who just walks out of there without taking much damage at all, even though Super Marco is around. And Bigetron Alpha just disengages and even takes a tier 1 mid on the way out. Super Ken not done just yet. Electrifying Beak is used, gets the purple buff for himself once more. Kautizi slowly getting punished in his own jungle as Flapteasy forced to disengage. All 5 members of Bigetron Alpha pushing AP BREN out of their own jungle.
Yeah, Bigetron Alpha currently winning the economy lane. Just take a look. Sakin is already leading in terms of the gold, just like 300 gold behind. That's one component behind, right? So which means Sakin is going to hit the critical mass in terms of the damage first as compared to Super Marco. But same problem could be said on the side of Bigetron Alpha, right? They take another purple buff away from Kautizi once again. And then immediately you see how Bigetron Alpha is rotating super efficient, right? Take the turtle up top, go down, invade purple, and then go back to secure their own purple buff to deny Kautizi from that purple buff away. Kautizi right here, this is a very big speed bump that he has to speed through. If you take a look at the items, yeah, exactly right? BOD going in, but it's more expensive to build a Beatrix X compared to a carry, so carry is still not too far behind. However, another key thing to also look out for, Super Vin going for more expensive item instead of attack.
And Phil forced to pop the Call Altar as was pulled in by Dorito early on. The Call Altar will expire, and I mean, Super Ken just runs him down with the Electrifying Beast. Meanwhile, they're gonna get the pull onto Super Vin, which is a Grok that doesn't really care too much.
Yeah, like this time around, Awkward, even though you sport the Conjure against Joy, this is literally logic, right, for the side of everybody. But then again, Awkward wasn't able to output nothing. But oh, Super Vin, well charged, the air.
Yeah, not able to get a connection, but doesn't really matter. Sakin just destroys the health bar. Few at Bigetron Alpha coming online. Flapteasy don't really want to be there. Sakin almost 2-shots him. And AP BREN, they just could not fight this. They need to buy time for Super Marco to come online.
Yeah, Kautizi once again, and the purple buff already gone. I feel like teams right here need to know how to deal with an assassin that relies on purple buff. And then again, you need to deal with how Bigetron Alpha is dealing with AP BREN, because this is so annoying, right? Kautizi is literally out of the game. The only thing he can do is only split pushing, and this is not a very good sign for AP BREN. Now to the Lord is taken down by the side of Bigetron Alpha. It's very comfortable because AP BREN has no wings. AP BREN has no map pressure at all. Damage leaderboard, most of them super can, but that damage is kind of deceiving. The damage is mostly going to against few with the Cult Altar, right? So yeah, main goal super can just deny the Cult Altar once again. Bigetron Alpha in a more stable position right now as compared to game number 1 and game number 2.
Yeah, it's a very frustrating game for AP BREN. Very frustrating game for Kautizi, especially when you're up 3-0. You have a pretty substantial lead, and then suddenly it all gets shut down because you lose one purple buff fight. And that just escalates into this Lord barreling down the middle lane, your side lane is getting pressured, and Bigetron Alpha knocking on your front doors again. You look at the level differential, right? Bigetron Alpha slightly ahead in terms of experience. It'll be Zorizo with the pullback on the SNAPDRAGON. The Cult Altar will be there to save him, and they even respond with the Divine Touch on Super Bane, who loses his first life thanks to Immortality. Kautizi to the back, ends up getting pushed back by Super Ken as he gets electrocuted alive. Bigetron Alpha looking to fry AP BREN in their own base. SNAPDRAGON dropping low. Zorizo gonna get the finisher. Gets destroyed instead by Super Marco as Kautizi comes back in for round number 2. Bigetron Alpha forced back, and the mid inhibitor stands.
Yeah, good defense coming out from AP BREN. Once again, Bigetron Alpha taking it slow just a little bit. They want to take even more than they could expect right there, right? They'll pay the price by losing Zorizo right there. But if you notice how Super Ken, right? Two-shotting Kautizi because of the electrocution. 2 proc from that ultimate is enough to push Kautizi away. And don't forget, Kautizi doesn't really have enough damage to assassinate because Key is just sticking onto Super Ken. And once again, finally, Kautizi this time around secures his own buff. So that's a good sign of relief for the side of AP BREN, but is it a little bit too late?
It could be, right? AP BREN playing catch-out game. I know that 2.5k go behind, and it's not that significant yet, but you look at the XP differential. When that Lord spawns in another 50 seconds, Kautizi will never win the retreat fight because he's just behind Super Ken in terms of level.
Yeah, Hunter Strike this time around being built at the very least, so a bit more burst damage, but Super Ken goes in full Blood Wings already. This is like licking item for joy, whereas Kautizi just running through scraps, just taking out breadcrumbs from the streets of Bigetron Alpha after, you know, Bigetron Alpha has been looting all across the board for the side of AP BREN. And now with the Lord coming up in the next 20 seconds, AP BREN, they're not in a good position, right? You talk about the level difference between these two teams. I'm also going to talk about the fact that AP BREN is basically fighting on their side of the map. This is exactly where AP BREN doesn't want to be, especially when you have a Fanny, right? That's supposed to output pressure in the early game.
Yeah, absolutely. SNAPDRAGON, he's trying to open up a lot of this space, but you can see that even his durability has its limits when Sakin is on top of him on his spear tricks. I mean, Super Marco, there's not much opportunities for him to fight. There's so many things you need to worry about, right? You gotta worry about the Grog running in your face, you gotta worry about Zorizo pulling you, you have to worry about Super Ken dancing on top of your body, and also Sakin just snipes you from 10 miles away. Bigetron Alpha, they're gonna start on this Lord right now, all going with the conceal. Zorizo is gonna instantly see it. Get the delay as now. Where is Kautizi? He's still taking the purple buff. This Lord is going to be gone. I do not think that AP BREN can win this, but they're going to try anyways. Committed to the fight. Kautizi straight to back, trying to look for the kill. Can't find the assassination as Zorizo runs away, and SNAPDRAGON ends up getting taken out.
Yeah, Sakin landing down Reverse Passion right there. I think it's just luck. Kautizi ate couple of shots right there. Kautizi immediately disengaged, right? He tries to go for the cleanup right there. Zorizo, Brace Might's coming in just in the nick of time. Zorizo was basically being the pseudo tank. Let's take a look at the replay, right? Like, the knockout was there. Awkward was able to catch Zorizo, but Zorizo doesn't really care. He's more than happy to absorb that and notice it because Bigetron Alpha knows that there's no Divine Judgment. Kautizi coming for the flank. Unfortunately, Sakin pushing it away cleanly. Cult Altar, even though it was already proc, Bigetron AP BREN knows they do not have the damage to continue the fight. They decide to back off. So a very nice fight coming out from the side of Bigetron Alpha. They still secure the Lord. AP BREN trying to punish Bigetron Alpha, but will not be able to find anything there.
Here comes the Lord. That's mid inhibitor down and ready. Kautizi can't hold a candle to Super Ken. The Joy is just outputting too much damage. That's without the help of Angela. So Kautizi is going to try to cut the wave as much as possible. They will scout out the members of Bigetron Alpha in the bottom side jungle. I guess the silver lining is that they still keep both the side lane inhibitors alive, but for how long?
It's gonna be tough. Sakin does have the Malefic Roar, so more damage against the turrets, right? Maybe this time around, AP BREN looking for a conceal play right here, looking for anybody, but look at that. Sakin is scarce. AP BREN couldn't reach Sakin at all. Sakin is the main damage dealer from the side of Bigetron Alpha. If you take a look at the items, yeah, Wind of Nature, just in case Super Marco knows he's not gonna do any damage at Beatrix at all. And not only just that, right? If you take a look, Angela Key already going in. NOD for good measure. Ice Queen 1. Going into Holy Crystal, she's going to heal even more, do a bit more, tad bit more damage. Not only just that, the utility that Angela brought onto the table is just so annoying and painful for AP BREN to deal with.
Especially for Flapteasy, right? You can't heal as much with the consecration anymore. The healing reduction from
Oracle too.
Yeah, and Oracle is just so. A lot of things are getting mitigated, right? Bigetron Alpha, they mitigate the healing from AP BREN, but they increase, they amplify the healing for themselves. And look at Kaltizi, he's going to be playing on that bot side, just constantly trying to see if he can find a pickoff. If not, he's going to try and cut the wave, put the pressure onto Bigetron Alpha side lane. Unfortunately, the Lord is spawning on the top side.
Yeah, Bigetron Alpha, I think the only way they need to try to solve this problem, right? Kaltizi is saying, okay, you know what? I know I cannot actually team fight you like this 5v5. The only thing I can do, send Kaltizi start doing hit and runs, right? Top side, bot side, bot side, until eventually Bigetron Alpha start to lose a lot of structures, and that's how AP BREN is going to have to try to stay in the game. And if you notice from the side of Bigetron Alpha, there's not anybody that can comfortably rotate and match up the tempo that Kaltizi is outputting. AP BREN needs to fight 4v1, and then after that, Bigetron Alpha noticing that, if you notice, they're spreading themselves apart, right? Because they know Kaltizi can be anywhere. They need a quick task force to deal with this raiding Fanny.
And also, you want to be aware of the big potential that Awkward poses. You can see Flapteasy, he's going to be putting his body in front once more to Bigetron Alpha. I think you just make the call to rush on the Lord, right? The Fanny is not going to be there in time. You have more than enough damage. Where is AP BREN in the situation? They got to be there right now. You see the conceal play from behind. The Lord dropping low! And Kaltizi steals it somehow. They even get to Socket. The wraparound was immaculate from AP BREN. Immortality from Superman goes down. Super Marco outputting the damage. Super Ken was him dead. And we'll find him. But is it enough though? The Alice, Key can't keep him alive for long enough. Super Ken ends up falling. It's Few and Flapteasy against Dorizo and Key. All the frontliners and support powered up together in this fight. Is an even trade. But AP BREN with heroic saved this game for themselves.
Yeah, AP BREN right here, literally that one button literally won, not say won them the game, won them back the map dominance, and now it's Bigetron Alpha on the back foot. This is exactly what I was talking about. When the late game comes, Super Marco pops off. You saw the damage that he was able to output there, all because of that flank, right? And now it's just Dorizo and Few going up against each other. The turret shot, ooh, with just one more, who should do the trick. But let's take a look at the instant replay, how it actually unfolds. If you notice, Kaltizi coming in just in the nick of time just to sacrifice himself, just to take up that Lord, right? And Super Ken getting shot all the way out. And if you notice how the members of AP BREN just focusing on the backline of Bigetron Alpha, immediately they're dead. Super Ken got caught out of position right there. He went on the other way. He was a little bit, I bet he was a little bit confused. That Lord should have been theirs, but Kaltizi stole it away, and that took Bigetron Alpha off guard.
Yeah, silver lining was that they were able to get rid of Super Marco before Super Ken went down, because I think if Super Marco stayed alive, this game would have absolutely gone off the rails for Bigetron Alpha.
Yeah, they found second, so that's actually a very good thing. And AP BREN knows that is the main win condition now. Even though Bigetron Alpha loses that Lord, they're able to stabilize just a little bit because of their sheer amount of structures, right? AP BREN still needs to go through multiple defensive structures from Bigetron Alpha to finally hit the strike at that heart. If you take a look at the items, yeah, Oracle, a Bloodlust Axe, Dom Eyes, going into Blade Armor, I believe. That's good item against Carry, which will kill himself because of the output, the attack speed alone, and he's also healing out of that and reducing attack speed as well. So Rizzo is also pseudo tanky. There you go, Blade Armor. And then also, if you notice, from the side of Ken, also going for the Blade Armor as well, ignoring the immortality instead.
Yeah, I mean, you want to shred out Hellbar, we'll watch you destroy yourself when you hit it. Get the pull, this one could be massive. Super Wind missed to get out. The damage of Super Marco not enough. The also keeping him alive. Super Ken, watch out! As he gets eviscerated by Kaltizi. And Bigetron Alpha overextending just a little bit. They cannot fight this. With Super Ken down for 40 seconds, AP BREN can start to set up at Lord.
Yeah, Super Ken cannot fight that at all, right? No pun intended right there. But you see how AP BREN is finally stabilized as well. The burst damage coming out from Few and Super Marco as well, just chunking down Super Ken. The Blade Armor, he thought that he's actually able to do and defend himself just a little bit more. But in the end of the day, he has HP bars, but he doesn't have the armor to deal with it, right? Now, Bigetron Alpha, because of losing Super Ken right there, it's only 13 seconds now. If you notice how KaoTZ is positioning. Oh, that's a Divine Judgment.
And then the pool, that's the Immortality, Zorizo. If he goes down, he's gonna be big trouble. This is the Mirror's Passion right there. Saken just shoots through Super Marco's health bar and Zorizo survives. KaoTZ, can you at least get a kill? No, he cannot. Saken saves it for Bigetron Alpha, and a turnaround right there as Lord spawns and Super Ken comes back to life. Oh, AP BREN, what have you done?
Oh no, AP BREN had that one small window opportunity, got shut down by Zorizo. AP BREN was pouring all the resources into Zorizo, couldn't end his life right there, actually ended AP BREN instead. Now Bigetron Alpha is gonna focus on the Lord right now. AP BREN couldn't actually defend this, right? Like, they don't really have... Okay, fine, Super Marco is going to come online just in time. Zorizo, to make things work, that's a Demon Wings going in. He's going to have even more spell bam, even more sustain. I think AP BREN, it's all about target prioritization right now. Target the wrong person, you're dead. Saken's gonna Negru Passion shred you all across the board.
I mean, they all stuck together, right? Saken is like, alright, is it you guys wanna come together? Hello, taste some lead. KaoTZ back just in time. This could be the final push for Bigetron Alpha. Look at that! Zorizo straight in! And Phew, he's dead! Super Marco gotta run. Survive just for a little bit. The Winker Trunk is keeping Super Ken alive. But AP BREN, can you stave off this assault? If Bigetron Alpha, they will focus everything on the crystal. And Bigetron Alpha have done it in their home ground.